Let's get right into it. Number 7. The success script you never wrote. You probably think your definition of success came from your own dreams and ambitions, but here's the thing that'll blow your mind. That vision of what it means to make it in life, that burning desire for a corner office or a white picket fence, most of it was programmed into you before you could even tie your shoes. Your family didn't sit you down and say, "Here's exactly what success looks like." Instead, they dropped little comments at dinner tables, made faces when certain careers came up on TV, and celebrated some achievements while brushing others under the rug. Maybe your parents always talked about doctors and lawyers like they were gods walking among mortals. Or maybe they rolled their eyes every time someone mentioned artists or entrepreneurs, calling them dreamers who'd never amount to anything. Those tiny moments shaped your entire worldview about what's possible for someone like you. The crazy part is, you're probably chasing goals that don't even excite you anymore, just because somewhere deep down, you believe that's what successful people are supposed to want. You might be climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall, all because your family's definition of winning got burned into your brain when you were too young to question it. Number 6. Your money blueprint was written in invisible ink. Every family has unspoken rules about money, and yours downloaded those rules straight into your subconscious mind. Some families treat money like it's evil, whispering about rich people being greedy or corrupt. Others worship it like a golden calf, believing that having more cash automatically makes you more valuable as a human being. Maybe your parents fought about money behind closed doors, or maybe they never talked about it at all, treating financial conversations like some forbidden topic. These inherited money beliefs are secretly running your financial life right now. If you grew up hearing that money doesn't grow on trees or that rich people are selfish, you might be unconsciously sabotaging your own earning potential. You could be turning down opportunities, undercharging for your work, or feeling guilty every time you try to build wealth. On the flip side, if your family equated money with love and attention, you might be a workaholic who never feels like you have enough, no matter how much you accumulate. The wildest part is that these beliefs operate completely under the radar. You think you're making logical financial decisions, but really, you're just following a script that someone else wrote decades ago. Number 5. The relationship rulebook you never agreed to follow. Your parents' marriage was your first and most powerful example of what love looks like. Whether their relationship was healthy or toxic, passionate or cold, stable or chaotic, it became your template for what to expect from romantic partnerships. If your parents argued constantly, you might believe that conflict is just a normal part of love. If they never showed affection, you could think that emotional distance is how mature couples behave. Maybe your mom always put everyone else's needs before her own, teaching you that love means sacrificing yourself completely. Or perhaps your dad was emotionally unavailable, programming you to believe that vulnerability is weakness and real men don't share their feelings. These inherited relationship beliefs don't just affect your romantic life. They influence how you show up in friendships, how you set boundaries, and whether you think you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. You might find yourself repeating the exact same patterns you swore you'd never repeat, or swinging so far in the opposite direction that you create new problems entirely. Number 4. The fear filter that colors everything you see. Some families pass down anxiety like a precious heirloom. If your parents saw the world as a dangerous place full of threats and disappointments, chances are you inherited that same fearful worldview. Maybe your mom constantly worried about worst-case scenarios, turning every minor risk into a catastrophic possibility. Or your dad was so afraid of failure that he never took chances, teaching you that playing it safe is the only smart strategy. This inherited anxiety doesn't just make you nervous, it actually changes how you perceive reality. You start seeing threats where none exist, avoiding opportunities because they feel too risky, and talking yourself out of dreams before you even try to pursue them. The fear filter makes you believe that disappointment is inevitable, that good things don't last, and that taking chances is foolish. What's really messed up is that this borrowed anxiety often has nothing to do with your actual life circumstances. You might be living in a completely different world than your parents did, but you're still operating from their outdated fear programming. Number 3. The career cage disguised as guidance. Your family probably thought they were helping when they steered you toward practical choices. But what they really did was build an invisible prison around your potential. Maybe they pushed you toward stable jobs with benefits, treating creativity like a luxury only other people could afford. Or maybe they convinced you that certain careers were off limits because people like you don't do those things. The brutal truth is, your family's career advice was usually based on their own fears and limitations, not your actual abilities. They projected their insecurities onto your future, warning you away from paths they were too scared to take themselves. If your parents never traveled, they probably told you that international careers were unrealistic. If they stayed in the same town their whole lives, they might have made you feel guilty for wanting to explore opportunities elsewhere. You're probably sitting in a job right now that pays the bills but slowly kills your soul, all because you internalized someone else's definition of what's responsible and realistic. The voice in your head that says you should be grateful for what you have, that pursuing your passions is selfish or impractical. That's not even your voice. It's an echo of conversations that happened around kitchen tables decades ago. Number 2. The worthiness wound that runs everything. Deep down in your bones, there's probably a belief about whether you deserve good things in life. This isn't something you consciously decided. It got programmed into you through thousands of tiny interactions with the people who raised you. Maybe you learned that love had to be earned through perfect behavior. Maybe you discovered that attention only came when you were struggling or sick. Or maybe you figured out that asking for what you needed made you a burden. These early lessons about your fundamental worthiness become the operating system for your entire life. If you believe deep down that you don't deserve success, happiness, or love, you'll unconsciously sabotage yourself every time you get close to having those things. You'll pick fights with partners when the relationship gets too good. You'll make mistakes at work just when you're about to get promoted. You'll spend money you don't have just when your finances start improving. The most insidious part is how this plays out in your daily choices. You settle for less than you want because asking for more feels greedy. You tolerate treatment that you know isn't right because you believe it's what you deserve. You downplay your achievements and amplify your failures because somewhere in your childhood, you learned that humility was safer than confidence. Number 1. The identity prison built from borrowed expectations. Here's the biggest inherited belief that's secretly running your life. The belief about who you're supposed to be. Your family didn't just give you genes and a last name. They handed you an entire identity package, complete with personality traits, values, and behavioral expectations that might have nothing to do with your authentic self. Maybe you're the responsible one who always fixes everyone's problems, even though you're exhausted from carrying that weight. Maybe you're the rebel who always goes against the grain, even when cooperation would serve you better. Or maybe you're the peacekeeper who avoids conflict at all costs, even when standing up for yourself is exactly what the situation requires. The tragedy is that you might be living someone else's life entirely, playing a character that your family needed you to be rather than discovering who you actually are. You've been so busy meeting inherited expectations that you never stop to ask what you actually want, what you actually believe, or who you'd be if you could start fresh. Breaking free from these inherited beliefs isn't about rejecting your family or pretending your upbringing didn't matter. It's about recognizing that you have the power to examine these inherited scripts and decide which ones actually serve your life. You get to keep the beliefs that help you grow and release the ones that hold you back. The question isn't whether you inherited limiting beliefs, because everyone did. The question is whether you're ready to stop letting someone else's fears and limitations define your future. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.